Hi everyone, it's Stuart with Frenetic Pace Sports, freneticpace.com, and we're doing a podcast this morning called Around the Bases. Topic is obviously Major League Baseball. We're here with Josh Kermy and Hunter Davies, two journalists at Frenetic Pace Sports. Josh covers baseball and the Detroit Tigers. Hunter is going to be covering Michigan State University and the Detroit Lions, but is also well-versed in baseball. So, Frenetic Pace Sports, you can see it at freneticpace.com. The podcast can be found on our YouTube channel. Just search Frenetic Pace. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, we're on X. And the content we've been producing is growing rapidly. We're starting to work with advertisers and monetizing what we're doing so we can expand. And everything is going very well at the company so far. Whether you're buying, selling, or looking for reliable property management, trust the name that has been serving the community for generations, Beal Real Estate. Our experienced team helps homeowners, buyers, sellers, and investors navigate every step of the real estate process. And with our professional property management services, we help protect your investment while providing quality service for both owners and residents. From finding the right home to managing your rental property, Beal Real Estate is here to make real estate simple. Call Beal Real Estate today at 734-662-6133 or visit gobeal.com. Beal Real Estate, local expertise, trusted service, and a commitment to your success. So, Josh, Hunter, baseball trade deadline done. The teams are set for the rest of the year. What's going on in baseball this week?
Well, I'm happy that we can finally end the Tarek Skubal noise in Detroit. It's gone. It's out of there. I want to lead with that. Let's get that out of the way. It's finally done.
And what happened to him last night?
He also did not get any run support in any of the innings that he pitched last night in his debut with the Dodgers, which when Dansby Swanson had that opening home run off him in, I believe it was the third or fourth inning, and that crowd just lit up. That was exciting. I know it's hard to turn on him, but he did not get any run support in his first debut with the Dodgers last night. Yeah,
and Tarek Skubal had a losing record with the Tigers. Did he get the loss last night, or did he get a no decision?
I'm not actually sure.
He got the loss.
All right, I was going to say,
I couldn't remember if they were down 2-1.
They were
down
tied
1-1.
Yeah, they were down 2-1.
Yeah, okay. So, Josh, who is the winner of the trade deadline and who is the loser of the trade deadline? Let's start with the Detroit Tigers. They traded Casey Mize and Tarek Skubal, and their lineup, to me, looks exciting. I'm concerned about the pitching, though, because of the injuries. But tell us what you think about what the Detroit Tigers did.
Yeah, I mean, in a vacuum, if you're looking at the two moves they made, I mean, I think they needed to be made. They backed themselves into a corner, and they had been backing themselves into this corner for more than just this season. You know, I still kind of wonder. I mean, like, even despite the home run from him last night, I still wonder kind of why they kept Glaber, just because they can't get anything. Like, he's gonna, I don't see them re-signing him because he's not gonna want to. I don't think. I guess I haven't called him, but I don't think he's gonna want another 1 year deal. And they just, I mean, they have infielders that they're gonna want, and it's just not gonna be a fit.
Did they just not get good offers for him? Probably.
I mean. I at that point, it's like that you could have got something. I mean, like the teams like the Rays, or I even think like the Phillies, who ended up with the Rise, maybe they like the Rise more. But I'm just saying, someone would have wanted a second baseman that can hit and get on base like Glaber. I mean, I'm sure there've been some type of market, and really considering he's going to walk for nothing because he's not eligible for a qualifying offer because he got one last year, he's literally going to just pack up his bags and go for literally nothing. So it wouldn't have mattered really whoever. Maybe that's why they felt, because they felt they had no leverage because of that. Mm-hmm. But it's like, I think they could have got something.
And to add to that point, I think we were talking about this earlier, by keeping Glaber, that signals to me that you're not ready to bring up Anderson, which means you're still trying to thread the needle and make the playoffs and compete now. So if you kind of knew Skubal was going to be gone and you were going to trade him, why not keep Mize and solidify that rotation, or try to go get some bullpen help with some reliever arms if you're going to keep a guy like Glaber onto that log jam as young talent as second.
And another thing is, when I did my lineup and put it on Facebook yesterday, a lot of people were like, "What about this guy? What about this guy? You're missing this guy. You're missing this guy." I'm like, "Wait a second. I thought we were terrible. Why are you concerned about guys I left out of the lineup?" But if you had traded Glaber for a minor league prospect, then you could play the guys you have. But you're not going to not play him.
No, you're going to play
especially
Glaber
with the way he's hitting.
Well, plus because you're paying him $22 million.
Right.
That factors in. Right?
Right.
So I mean, like, you still have $6 million-ish left on that to pay. So like, yeah, he's not going to sit.
Right.
I mean, yeah, I get it. It just didn't necessarily make sense, like, because I think that they could have, like, I'm sure they could have got like some type of pitching prospect, or maybe even outfield prospect that would have been useful, for the system. And again, you just never know, like, when someone can kind of come out and, like, how you leave for Michael Lorenzen. People were like, "Oh, who'd we get years ago for Michael Lorenzen? Who'd we get? How you Lee, another scrap that's never going to do anything." Yeah. And now, to your point,
he looks pretty
people
good
were mad that you didn't put him in your lineup yesterday.
Right. I didn't know how to fit him in.
Right. Like, so, I mean, we've talked about this many times. The fans are fickle. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, they go hot. They ride that roller coaster, man. So yeah, I mean, Hunter just said, talking about, like, keeping Casey. I mean, I thought one of Casey and Tarek were going to go, and I'm even speaking, like, before that whole Orioles debacle last night that Scott Harris spoke to, just because of salary cap reasons, and, like, to get one of them. Keeping Casey would have even made more sense because he is eligible for a qualifying offer. Now, I'm not saying that the deal they got for Casey I thought the deal they got for Casey is pretty good. I think especially that Cash
Mayfield.
Yeah, has potential. I mean, he's not a top 100 prospect, but he's a lefty, can get up to mid-90s, working his velocity back, but has potential to be in the rotation on some level.
Okay.
So, but I mean, they wouldn't have let Casey walk for nothing. They would have got that pick, and after trading Tarek, they would have been under the tax exemption, and they would have been after the first round, not the fourth round.
So if the Detroit Tigers had gone 22-6 in May and not 6-22 in May, would they have traded Casey Mize and Tarek Skubal?
No.
They ought to go 500 in the month of May, and they're leading the AL Central at the moment.
I even think that they go 5 and, like, that 7-game stretch, like that right between the Royals and Orioles that just recently had home stretch.
Right.
I think that 4-3, like, I think, like, Scott Harris did a post-trade deadline interview after the deadline, just saying what his thoughts were and his strategy, and he all but said the game that we unfortunately went to Wednesday was the straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah.
And that would have made him.
That too?
I'm sorry.
Did Skubal say something about that too?
Scoob said that. Tarek said that too. That he's like, it felt like Wednesday was pretty much it for me.
Right.
I think those are almost his exact verbatim words.
And losing those 2 games against the Royals,
I even think
that was bad.
Right, for sure, especially the way they did it. Right, 2 late losses from the bullpen, and then obviously the complete implosion Wednesday that we had to witness. I mean, that was like literally watching a train wreck. The car on the tracks.
You have the implosion against the Orioles. You have those 2 games against the Royals. The last game of the series against the Angels, you lose by 1 run, where Mize left early.
We could see
an injury.
We could sit here till 10 o'clock.
So you don't think the Tigers would have traded those 2 guys if they were in a better position?
I think because how it worked out, I even think 4-3 on that home side, let alone 5-2 gets it done. Like, to where they're like, okay, we're going to keep Tarek and see what happens. Right. I do. I mean, and Scott Harris even almost all but said that.
Yeah, and because I think at that point you realize that if you have a better stretch, that you are a good baseball team. You just had a really bad month without your best player, and that hampered you. But as he says, was it Scott Harris or AJ Hinch who said we're a good baseball team with a bad record?
Right.
Yeah. So that 6-22 stretch, though, we were missing Tarek, we were missing Gleyber Torres.
Most of it.
And in that game, Gleyber came back. You were like, "Oh my God, the pitchers treat the lineup so differently."
Amazing, yeah. I mean, look at Gleyber's on base. I mean, look how his walks.
Did he walk 4 times?
Yeah, I mean, he's just that's why I say someone would have given you something for him because he's, I mean, a legitimate professional hitter, at bat. Those don't just grow on trees, So, but I mean, hey, I like Gleyber, and I even a lot of people were even mad that they gave him the qualifying offer and oh my God, it's stupid. Da, 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 da. I honestly was happy because this is what he does get on base, and he is very good.
Yeah.
So the Tigers need the guy that's just not going to go up there and especially after last year, because they even struck out more last year than this year. I don't know if you guys remember, they were really bad. They need that type of professional that's going to work at bat. Even if they get down, they're not going to panic, and still be able to challenge a pitcher.
Yeah, I mean, I was impressed with the lineup last night. I mean, I think Max Clark went down 0-2, and then made the pitcher, I think, throw 4 more pitches.
Yeah.
He did end up getting out in that at-bat, but he made the pitcher throw 4 more pitches, whereas last year, our 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th hitter would have gone 0-2 and struck out.
Oh, for sure.
Max Clark, he's producing good at-bats, getting pitches out of the pitch count. There was one earlier in the game where I think he got down like that, and he ended up producing a walk out of it after a couple more pitches.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, so the Tigers, we don't know if they're a winner or a loser, but they did paint themselves into a corner, so they had no choice with the stretch that we just talked about. The Dodgers, obviously, a big winner at the trade deadline. They're the best team in baseball. Now they're even better. I can't imagine anyone beating them in the playoffs. I can't even imagine it. But who were other winners at the trade deadline, and who were losers at the trade deadline? Who did some dumb stuff?
I think it's less against the dumb stuff, and it's more a loser of circumstance with what another team did, obviously, in the Dodgers and what they didn't do. I think the Brewers, again, just sitting there, and they try to add Dustin May, which they're probably going to be able to get the best out of him, but I don't think that move enough is going to push Milwaukee over the edge. They have to do more than just win the NL regular season if they want to win the World Series. I mean, they were in the Tarek Skubal talks. The rumor has it they had a good offer set up for the Tigers, but they weren't willing to give up a pitching prospect or a pitcher. We talked about Logan Henderson was on the board. And if you're trying to go win that World Series, you just have to go win now. You have to push to make that move. Even if you're not going to be able to resign him, a rental of Tarek Skubal will probably get you your first World Series in franchise history, and now you're going to watch the Dodgers again give up this offer for Skubal because they're one of the 2 teams that probably could offer him the extension that he wants. And now once the postseason starts, if the Dodgers get 1 of 2 of their injured pitchers back in that rotation, that it's going to be hard to stop them going for a 3rd straight World Series. And I think the Brewers just didn't do that much, and by circumstance of the Dodgers getting the gold mine in Tarek Skubal really hurts them at the deadline.
Yeah, okay. And any other winners?
I liked what the Yankees did. I think Luis Garcia is a really good bat. I mean, he has 24 homers this year, and I think Elio Ramos has really helped them against lefties. I mean, obviously they're also just kind of trying to hold some water until Aaron Judge, Cody Bellinger, and Stanton get back. But I mean, Garcia's a bat. I mean, 24 homers already is that's a ball player. I think that the Guardians actually, on their level, I think Foster Griffin is a sneaky good ad. He's had a great year. He had a great, was pitching great for the Nationals, and they even might have a potential to re-sign him. I think, speaking of Casey, I think the Padres, when people were talking about, they're not going to go around, he gets Robbie Ray and Casey, to an already very, very, very good bullpen.
And on the other end of that stick in the same division, the Diamondbacks, who are a game ahead of them right now, didn't do too much to improve their roster while the Padres continued to buy. Padres beat them last night, and they have the chance to catch them and potentially push them out of that last wild card spot because the Padres bought. The Diamondbacks didn't do too much.
Yeah.
Is your air conditioner struggling to keep up with the summer heat? Don't sweat it. Call Wright Mechanical, 734-684-0030. Whether you need a fast repair, seasonal maintenance, or a brand new high-efficient air conditioning system, the experienced team at Wright Mechanical has you covered. We provide honest, quality workmanship and dependable comfort you can count on. Stay cool all summer long with a team that puts your comfort first. Call Wright Mechanical at 734-685-0030 today to schedule your service and experience the right way to stay cool. Wright Mechanical, keeping your home comfortable no matter how high the temperature climbs. www.wrightmech.com. So the Padres, you think they got better with this trade?
Oh, definitely.
Can they beat the Dodgers, though?
I mean, no. I mean, I wouldn't think so. But I mean, I point to last World Series again. I mean, it's like no one would have thought that the Blue Jays did almost win, right?
Right.
So you never know when you get in the
Right.
playoff series what can happen. Though, I mean, man, Tarek to the Dodgers just is crazy. Like they still don't have the Dodgers. Think about this: they're getting that Blake Snell and Tyler Glass now.
Yeah.
Like that. I mean, they're going to have theoretically, which you usually go to a 3-man rotation usually, but they might maybe they do use 4, unless they somehow need to go down to 3. But I mean, they're going to have Tarek, Yoshi Yamamoto, Blake Snell, and Tyler Glass now. I mean,
So that means you're scoring no runs, maybe one run in the first 7 innings.
Just crazy to think. And I mean, then they're going to move guys like Robleski and Emmett Sheehan to the bullpen.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
that's just it's crazy to think about for the NL.
Robleski was an all-star.
He was an all-star starter?
Huh?
He was an all-star starting pitcher?
He didn't start the game, but he was in the all-star game.
Not as a reliever.
Correct.
Oh, wow.
Well, I mean, there's only one technical starter, but yes, he is a starter for the Dodgers and made the all-star
But
game.
in the World Series.
He will be in the bullpen.
Oh, my God.
I know. Like, I mean, and that's the thing is, it's like, and Emmett Sheehan was Tiger, people were saying that the Tigers should try to get him in the trade, right? But,
Yeah.
I mean, that wasn't happening. But, so, yeah, I mean, it's, that's going to be a whole nother beast of, I mean, never say never, but man, I just don't see how you beat them, especially, like, I think that as crazy as it sounds, just because you only have to beat them 3 times, like, I think they're more susceptible, and it's only because you only have to beat them 3 instead of 4, more susceptible in the 5 games series than a 7.
Right.
But good luck.
Yeah, okay, good. So we've talked about the Padres, we talked about the Yankees. What about the Chicago Cubs, and what do you think about what they've done this
season? They did
season?
really well. I mean, they obviously tried to get Tarek, but I mean, from reports it seemed like Scott Harris just really liked the Dodgers prospects.
Yeah.
I think that in Maine, I think it was obviously Zaire, and they liked that River Ryan was first of all available, and to them and to just about any other team, he's major league ready. But I mean, they got Gausman, they got Zephyr, bolted up with Zephyr John, Clay Holmes too. I mean, so I think they did really well, for what they needed in getting some starting pitching, because that's really hard to get at the deadline.
And what about the Tampa Bay Rays?
I think they did pretty well too.
Yeah, I think they did well. They're still atop their division right now. They got enough help, but they, again, were one of the teams in that Tarek School kind of rumor mill conversations, and they're still atop the AL. They're still doing very well. The Yankees made some moves. The Red Sox, they made a lot of moves to help push them over the edge, but the Rays are still in a good position right now.
So with the Boston Red Sox going into the trade deadline, they were on like absolute heater. Now I think last night I saw they keep winning, and so what's going to happen there in the AL East?
I mean, they are still on that heater right now. They absolutely smoked Chicago, the White Sox, last night.
Good.
They did.
Good.
Right.
It was a good night for Detroit and a good night for Boston, but the Red Sox, the Adley Rutschman move is a great move for them. They already traded for Curtis Mead before the deadline. They added a lot of pieces, and they are firmly in that wild card spot right now. with the heater they're on, I find it hard for them to lose any traction. And I don't know, they might even be able to catch. They're only 2 games back of New York for the top wild card, and I believe they're 5.5 games back of their division, but they're only 2 games back of New York for that wild card, for that top wild card spot. The way they're playing right now, I could see them catching at least New York.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know about Tampa.
Yeah, okay, good. And Pittsburgh Pirates, anything interesting there?
Yeah, I mean they got two relievers. They added Duvall from the Yankees, and it seems like Sherrington and Cashman really have a good relationship. They seem to do something every trade deadline.
Why didn't the Yankees want to keep him?
For them, I guess they just felt they had other options, but
Okay.
Or maybe it's funny. There are guys that just don't seem to go. They go to New York and they don't seem to be themselves.
I've seen that, yeah.
And then they go somewhere else and they go back to being themselves. So maybe that was it. I don't know. But
The lights are too bright out there.
Duvall, had some good time in San Francisco where he came from before the Yankees.
Yeah.
And they got Luke Weaver, who was very highly sought after reliever from the Mets.
Okay.
So, and they needed that.
And then Tigers opponents, Minnesota Twins, Cleveland Guardians. Did they improve their teams at the deadline?
I think both of them. I would say both of them did. This year for Minnesota, a lot different than how they spent last year's trade deadline, where they trade away Joan Duran, Carlos Correa, Griffin Jacks, Lewis Farland, Harrison Bader, a bunch of guys on last year's team that they traded away. And this year, Joe Ryan was in a couple trade talks, Ryan Jeffers, Trevor Larnach maybe, and they didn't trade any of those guys. They decided to keep them. Their GM came out, said they were still going for it. They added some relievers in Jeff Hoffman and AJ Minter. They brought in Dean Kramer. They have a weak bullpen, and they addressed that issue by bringing in some bullpen guys. So I would say the Twins definitely got better, and the Guardians, we mentioned the Foster Griffin addition already earlier. They bring in Nathaniel Lowe, Joe Adele, a lot of good pieces to add to their roster as they look to make a push for the AL Central. I mean, Chicago's holding on to that lead right now. Chicago, they added Luis Castillo. They added some starting pitching help that they desperately needed. He hasn't had his best season this year, but it adds to a rotation that needed some help, especially if they want to hold on to the Central. Because when it comes down to the end, are you going to trust the young, exciting team, or are you going to trust Cleveland, who's been there, done that, caught up and done that before? So I think all 3 of those teams got better in some aspects. Well, some one way or another at the deadline, some marginally better than others.
Okay, good. And then last team I want to talk about is the Houston Astros. What did they do?
The Astros, they didn't do too much. They brought in, I believe, Dalton Varsho was the name they brought in. They didn't make too many moves. Nobody in the AL West really made that many moves. The Rangers sat around and didn't do too much. The Mariners, they sold away Luis Castillo again. He wasn't having his best year, but they didn't do all that much. And so the Astros, who are also on a bit of another run, they're 59 and 56, I believe, right now, leading the AL West. They brought in Dalton Varsho out in the outfield, and they're a good team. They're looking to win the AL West, and I think they did just enough, but I think they did just enough because nobody else in the West really did much to go with them.
Yeah, okay, good. And teams that are on hot streaks right now, we've got Houston Astros. They're playing really, really well. Boston Red Sox are probably on the biggest streak. Tigers have won 4 in a row. Of course, they did play a minor league baseball team essentially for 3 of those games. And I know Seattle's their big bats are not performing as well as they did last year. But who else is like surprising, like on a good run? Anybody else?
I mean, the Cubs are playing well right now. I mean, they just beat the
Dodgers.
Yep. They beat them. They actually beat them. They beat them twice,
Yeah.
2 times in a row. So they're playing well right now.
The Padres have won 9 of their last 11
Yeah.
to catch the Diamondbacks and looking for that wild card spot. They're obviously not going to be able to catch the Dodgers, but they're 1 game behind that wild card spot, and if they win their series tonight against Arizona, they will be in that wild card spot, winning 9 of their last 11. Has surely helped them get back into that race and made them buyers at the deadline.
And how many wild cards are there? And is Padres already a lock for a wild card, do you think? There's no way they're going to fall out of it. They're going to be in the playoffs no matter what.
There's 3 wild card teams. They're not in there right now, but I think with the moves at the deadline and just looking at the NL wild card race, the Cubs and Phillies both added at the deadline. I think those 2 are basically the locks in the wild card for the NL. And I think it will come down to the Diamondbacks and the Padres, and based off the moves made at the deadline and which teams are playing better baseball right now, I think I'd have to put the Padres over Arizona at the moment.
Sports fans, are you ready for a different kind of sports experience? Welcome to freneticpace.com, where the action never slows down and conversations go beyond the scoreboard. From breaking news and game analysis to bold opinions, stories, and moments that make sports unforgettable, Frenetic Pace at freneticpace.com brings fans closer to the teams and athletes they love. Whether you're a diehard fan, a casual observer, or someone who just loves great sports conversations, Frenetic Pace delivers the energy, insight, and passion you're looking for. Join the conversation today at freneticpace.com. Frenetic Pace, fast, fearless, and fueled by the love of sports. So let's just talk about each division. I know we've talked a lot about the AL East. I think the Yankees are going to end up prevailing there. What do you think about the Central and the West in the AL?
I think the Central is a lot more interesting than it was than the last time we did this. I hate it because I can't quit Detroit even after the moves, even after trading away Skubal and Mize. The batters lineup is a solid lineup. It's just the rotation is questionable until Job and Flaherty come back, and the bullpen they did not do anything with the bullpen. So as of right now, I like the young and exciting White Sox, but when push comes to shove, Cleveland time and time again seems to prevail. So looking at it right now, I'm looking at Cleveland to top that division, but I just can't quit Detroit.
And both Cleveland and the White Sox are coming to Detroit next week. Right?
Yeah,
Yes.
they got
Is it 6 games or 7 games?
the Tigers got 7 games against each team left.
Okay.
The one thing we've been talking about is so against the Guardians, they are currently Tigers, of course, are 0-6 against the Guardians. So season series, winning the season series matters because if it's going to be close, so the Tigers technically are 2.5 games back Cleveland, not 1.5, because they have to have one more, because I don't think they're going to go 7-0 against them. Maybe, but I don't think so.
Right.
So the Cleveland's going to win that series. Chicago, season series. Chicago, they're 3-3. Minnesota, they're currently 2-5. They played 7. They only have 6 left in Minnesota. The Tigers, so they're going to get better with, so Jackson's supposed to come back Saturday. He's going to start, but he's not going to come out throwing 80, 90 pitches probably first game, right? He's going to be on somewhat of a pitch count. Jack shouldn't be much far behind. So when those guys come back, it's going to be virtue Ty is going to be able to be in the bullpen, and then Brant Herter actually is on a rehab assignment. That's going to be a big lefty that they could theoretically get from the bullpen. Gilbert Diaz, who actually you saw pitch the 9th last night. He's kind of an unknown, but you saw he had 96, 97, 98. He struck out 2 guys. He's a little wild erratically. If they can get that somewhat controlled, he has some stuff that this bullpen has not had, or someone throwing like that.
Right.
And then River Ryan, who they got in the trade, the second he's healthy, he's going to be in Detroit. So I do think the bullpen has a chance to get better just by those guys that I named, and then some people getting healthy, and even when Jackson comes back, because it'll push some people to be able to kind of come out of the bullpen and just give them some strength that way.
Yeah, and the Tigers bullpen, the number one problem with them is they have no swing and miss, and then when you are playing one-run games, you're in danger of going into extra innings, and now you've got a guy on second base with no swing and miss, and
it's
just might as well
right.
just end the game
So
because
right, it's not just. I mean, it's swing and miss for sure, but it's also a combination of like they have trouble. Sometimes they walk guys, right? So that is in that.
and not walk guys
and
in the
that's like
extra
a real
innings with a guy on second base.
Remember, like last Wednesday, what Kyle like he came and walked, and it's like, what did I say to you guys in the stands? You're up 7-1 and you walk a guy. Remember
Right.
when I looked at you guys and said that?
Yeah.
Like
just-
it's just like you
just
can't.
prove it,
you
you know?
just you got like
Just
and
see
you
what
like for a
happens.
while, exactly. So I mean, again, in going back to like why that last Wednesday, it's like Scott Harris said like it kind of seemed like Wednesday was the day. At some point, the math is the math, and I've been saying that for a couple weeks or even a month, a lot longer. Like you just have to look at the math, and it's not impossible. I mean, they're 4.5 with 48 left. I'm sorry, 48 left, right? 49 left, something like that. Not impossible. It's just they got to win games, and they're gonna like tonight is like they got to get at least one more against Seattle.
Yeah, I mean, we saw nothing out of Seattle last night just because of Troy Melton, who's pitching for Detroit tonight.
Drew Anderson is
yeah.
starting,
Okay.
but it'll be like probably 2-3 innings depending, and of course pitch count and how he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I would guess Ty Madden's on his back, but you
So
never.
they've got
you never.
Seattle's got a better chance tonight, is what you're saying.
Both games, and I think I said that I said that in the video. I mean, that's why last night was really important for them to win because they had absolutely. I mean, Emerson Hancock is a very good pitcher. I would say
Didn't look like it last night.
No, but
Everyone's got an off.
Everybody
it
got an
happens.
off day.
It's the major leagues. It's going to happen, right? Christopher Sanchez had a game where he gave up 9. I'd still take him just about over almost anybody.
Yeah.
So it happens. Because Brian Wu again. I said in my video that I did last night. He has a 2.2 ERA at home. Even if you saw he's 4.5 ERA overall, he's a much different pitcher at home. And then tomorrow is Bryce Miller, who is very good, under 3 ERA, and I was there on the Saturday. He pitched to Comerica, and he diced him up 6 innings, gave up 1 hit. So
then the AL West, Astros.
yeah, they've been coming on.
I think they've picked it up. They've picked up steam, and the Rangers and the Mariners have been falling off. The Mariners they looked lost last night. I don't expect them to look as lost tonight, but Houston's been picking it up, and I think they've been the best team in that division all season, and they're finally just now playing like it and finally pulling ahead.
Yeah.
They should
And they have
been.
one of the most exciting baseball players in the major leagues.
Yes,
they do.
And they also have postseason experience.
Hey.
Yeah,
And so I think
do.
they're dangerous.
Oh, for sure.
they're very dangerous.
Yeah.
They are.
All right, and then we got the NL East.
The Braves, the Braves have won 6 in a row.
Wow.
So they've pushed that lead back out because the Phillies had some problems for a little bit, even though the Phillies also have won 4 in a row. But the Phillies had a little bit of a lull until this past week. So we'll see what happens there. 7.5 with 45, 50 games left is a lot to ask. So I would think the Braves are in a good spot there. But I mean, the Phillies are going to make the playoffs and be there.
In the wild card spot.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Phillies are a lock in the wild card, and the addition they made of Luis Ariz, the deadline. Watch out on defense, but they're going to be a good offensive team, but that defense is going to be iffy in Philly, which is why I believe in Atlanta just solidifying the East.
The Phillies are good in the playoffs, though. Watch
They
out.
are really good.
All right, NL Central.
NL Central, I think, is Milwaukee's to lose. Chicago is basically a lock, I think, for that top wild card spot. They're only 5.5 games back and to catch Milwaukee, but Milwaukee's just been doing so well. Their rotation's really good. Jacob Mizorowski's the NL Cy Young favorite, and they've just been dominant all season long, and so I can't see them losing that lead to Chicago even after the move Chicago made.
Okay.
And I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see either of those two teams playing LA in the championship series for the NL.
Right. All right, and then
Very good.
NL West.
And let's put it on a bow for the Dodgers, and then I think Padres and Diamondbacks can go in a boxing ring, put on a few gloves, and battle it out for that last wild card spot.
Yeah.
So the Dodgers, they've already got the highest payroll in baseball, right? 2027, we're talking about potentially a lockout. Now you got the Tarek Skubal thing. He wants hundreds of millions of dollars. Like, how does that play out, and are the Dodgers going to become like this huge villain in this whole situation?
Well, they already are being
they
considered
probably
the
already
villain by
are.
everybody.
But at the same time, I mean, the Mets. I guess the Mets are looked at like a inept villain. But I mean, I don't know. It very well could be some type of lockout. I don't know. I think there's a lot of reasons that the players. So the players also, they lock out. They're not getting paid, right? They lose their money unless signing bonus. They still get paid, but semantics.
What happens in the minor leagues during a lockout? AAA.
They still play.
Yeah.
They still play.
Yeah. So with the lockout, it would just be a complete disaster in my opinion, because baseball right now is the most popular it's ever been in many, many years.
It has.
People are really enjoying the changes that they've made to the game.
Mm-hmm.
I am a huge proponent of the pitch clock and the strike zone, and I think it's just adding a lot of excitement. I do like extra innings baseball, but I did go to some games that were like in the 14th, 15th inning where like there's no pitchers left and just nothing's happening. So I do like the guy in second base, and it would just be a tremendous shame to deny us that, and everyone just needs to be a little less greedy going into this thing. But there's a lot at stake, and you're going to have Cleveland with a $70 million payroll or something play the Dodgers with a $400 million payroll. That's crazy.
It's gotten out of hand. I have some numbers. Like I did numbers a little bit ago, like showing that almost like inflation in the economy, right? Like kind of like inflation, like wages, average wage has not kept up with inflation, right? Like the bottom portion, the bottom third of MLB payrolls have not kept up with the top.
Right.
Like, so it's just like they're like separating, right? It's going like this when you're looking at the average, like over the last like decade or so. And also man, I wish I should have brought that chart, if we were going to talk about this, but like basically like there's been like 2 or maybe 3 instances in the last decade where like it had like a non-top 10 payroll has even made the World Series. Like the Royals in 15, but the Royals were 13th that year in payroll, believe it or not. Like a lot of people don't realize that. They think they were they spent they spent some money that year. Now like that when they won in 15.
They had some good players.
And then like Cleveland in 16, like right when they lost to the Cubs.
Yeah.
But like that's kind of they had a lower. I forget exactly what number, but I mean they weren't high. But like they didn't win, but they got there, which still is something. But like other than that, like it's been everyone's like the Braves, the Dodgers, the Astros, like are all high payroll teams.
Yeah.
That that have won.
All right. Well, I don't think we need to worry about that until the day after the World Series ends. So let's keep it positive. Baseball is really exciting right now. I love how you've got a lot of different teams in the mix, despite the Dodgers looking like the team to beat. And I like the Detroit Tigers' chances winning 4 in a row here, and I think taking 1 more in Seattle and then coming home after that. Right?
No, they haven't. It's 9. They go to San Francisco after Seattle.
Okay, yeah. So, anyways, what I was saying is very excited about next week where they're at home playing division rivals, because that will be very telling.
Don't forget, end of the month, guess who comes back?
Tarek Skubal.
Now, I haven't figured out the schedule. I mean, because it's far. Who knows? Honestly, I don't even if he's going to pitch, but still, he's going to be back, of course, right?
What I want to see happen is Justin Verlander versus Tarek Skubal. So hopefully he get healthy before that.
You can hope on that.
That would be awesome.
The Tigers probably would love it too, right?
Yeah, I mean he's got to throw. He's got to throw at least
take it off.
one more pitch this season. I'm hoping they bring him in even for ceremonial purposes,
Right.
because when I went to see Cabrera, that was like such a special moment. When the way he ended his career was really special. They did it perfectly. So I just want to see him come in for at least a ceremonial pitch. So that's Around the Bases with Josh and Hunter. Thank you so much for listening, and check us out at freneticpace.com and Frenetic Pace on YouTube.